Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome to what was supposed to be before the Anivia episode, but this is an episode of Climb to Master. We're doing a post-game commentary of it because I think it is important to show. But the reason why the order problem happened is because as for the main video of the day, I basically always want that to be a live commentary because that's what my channel is. It's a live commentary channel. And obviously, if I uploaded the games in actual order, this game would have been the first game of the day, and then the second video of the day would have been the Anivia episode. And obviously, I don't want a post-game commentary to be the main video of the day. A lot of people probably would have had issue with that. So that's why you're getting it the other way around. Obviously, this does lead to spoilers that you guys know the outcome to this game, most likely. But it's important to show and learn from, and yeah. So why is this a post-game commentary? I hear some people asking. I did mention in the Anivia episode. Basically what happened is this Kane was crazy toxic. Like, basically one of the worst people we've had of recent history. You know, going as far as, you know, the certain phrase of, you know, ending said people's lives. He went that far. And, you know, the early game, as you'll probably see, wasn't great. And when you have someone like that on your team, in my opinion, the chances of winning that game go down exponentially. So much so to the point, especially when I'm streaming, the commentary in me just kind of fades away. That I'll stop talking and I just want to kind of put music on, talk to the chat, and try to kind of get myself in a good mood by doing that instead of actually focusing directly on the game I'm in. So that's why I stopped the recording during. But we're playing Malzahar. We're against a Talon, and if memory serves correct, I will say this game was probably played 4 days ago now, so it is a little while ago. But from memory, I picked first. I believe I picked first, and he picked Talon into me, which is an okay matchup because in principle Malzahar does counter assassins, but obviously he does just basically force them to buy a QSS. So obviously Talon, I flashed away, which it was a questionable flash. I might have delayed it a bit more to then bait out an ignite. But Talon, if you guys know the meme, you know, did you know Talon is the best champion to get first blood? It's a true fact. It's not just a meme. That champion does get more first bloods than any. Maybe a Kali is going to overtake that. But yeah, no, he does get most first bloods at level 2. That is his massive power spike of damage. The Q and the W combined with an ignite, with corrupting potion, boom, you're dead. So that's why I flashed. It was just that kind of like, ugh. So we're also doing something slightly different that I'm doing on Malzahar as well this episode. Is basically, normally I would never really, it's 50-50. Some games I run minion dematerializer, some of them I don't. And this game I did because the whole premise of Talon is one of two things. Either kill lane opponent, then great, or he's a roamer. Like, that's what he does. He roams, or he just goes for 1v1 kills. So I went teleport, so if I was getting pressured, I could go back without, you know, feeling much about it. Or when he roams, I can follow him with teleport, but I also want minion dematerialize this game to give myself better pushing power, to give myself more killing strength on minions. And yeah, that's the general premise around it. Obviously, whenever you take something like that, you are taking away from other areas in your game. You know, technically with even Malzahar, I have seen some Malzahars do it. If you want to go for pure combat power, you can in fact go like sorcery first with either precision or domination. It's very, very like strong, but yeah. Anyway, there is the first 4-man gank. That is actually my teleport. I was like, I might try to get there. I cancel it so it does get refunded. They are looking for a return kill, but that was a 4-man bot lane. It still is, which again, shouldn't be a surprise. A couple of reasons why it shouldn't be a surprise. One, it's a Talon lane, like I mentioned earlier. He's a roamer. Secondly, it's a Draven lane. Draven is a champion that gets outscaled by a Lucian, roughly. Like, they are pretty close, but I'd say Lucian does have a slight advantage in the early game and late game, or not in the late game. So you want to try and get your Lucian to have a good early game because that's where Draven has his advantage. So to me, that's not surprising. Furthermore, if you really wanted to go into characteristics of people and champions, and I know not everybody does that because, in fact, it is stereotyping, I just find it's a very effective way of climbing without thinking that much into stuff. But most Dravens aren't the most positive influence in attitude, and a lot of them give up fairly easily. So that is also another thing to consider. Anyway, top lane, unfortunately, Aurelia did kill the Jace. I actually now remember why the Talon was so crazy toxic. And all I'll say, without spoiling it too much, the Jace is a support player who got autofilled to top. Well, actually, they said they were support and a top lane player, but they are pretty much predominantly a support player. And obviously, picking Jace, probably not the best type of champion to pick if you aren't a top laner. And also, I think they only had 2 games of Jace or something like that at the time of recording this video. So that rings a bell now in my head that it was a support player playing top. Again, still not warranted behavior by the Talon, and, you know, hopefully he does get punished, and I'm pretty sure everybody in this game did report him. But yeah, so Jace dies again in top lane, by the way. He gets ganked, and also Fiddlesticks dies, and the unfortunate thing with Fiddlesticks, he DC'd. So you can see here, he quit the game, reconnected. Yeah, he disconnected. And again, what I'd say with disconnect, because it's not even a controversial topic, it's just common sense. If you're going to have the occasional disconnect, okay, that's fine. Everybody's going to have them. I've had power outs before, but I've been lucky enough that I got into the game quick enough to then come back and win the game. But yeah, no, I understand that can happen. Power goes out. You know, a disaster could happen. But if you are the type of person that it happens frequently, that is when you know, don't play ranked. You know, if it happens to you, I don't know, like once a week, probably ranked isn't for you. So as you can see, this game is pretty terrible right now. So Talon bought mobility boots in the early game. He roams down, kills the Kayn. Draven is alone in bot lane because the Fiddlesticks has been disconnected. He dies in a 2v1 under tower. So overall, pretty bad, you know. There's not a lot we can do about it when, you know, you've got a DC, and I was walking back to lane as Malzahar, and while I'm walking back to lane, that is when Talon roamed with mobility boots. I can't stop that. So, pretty unfortunate, and as you can see, the beginnings of why this game definitely had a negative influence to it, as, you know, at least in the early game, is because we're 0-5 down. CS-wise, most people are behind, or everyone's behind, in fact. So it's just one of those games that you just kind of feel everything is going against you. Now, this ultimate, if you're wondering what that ultimate is, it was simply just to get him low health. That's all it was. Again, it's a very effective thing to do. Meanwhile, Kayn is coming in, looking for a gank on the Talon. I go for a flash, and then I get slowed. I get a silence on me, get 1 kill. Xin goes to me. I get my dot on him to do some damage. Kayn, I think, just hit level 6, does his ultimate on Xin as well. Now a little fight is going to commence. Pretty low, both of them, and Kayn gets a double kill. I get 2 assists. Definitely worth it. So, obviously, those 2 assists gave me around 150 gold each. So that, in essence, has just given me a kill, and it gave Kayn 2 kills in terms of gold worth. So me and Talon now on the gold. I've got 2,400, he's got 2,800, and that gap there is mainly through the farm difference mainly. Jace does get dove, gets killed again. He is now 0-3 with a bunch of farm down as well. So yeah, it's a rough game. There's no hiding it. And I will say, you know, it's something that not all of you watching this video, or the vast majority of you guys, will never experience, is when you are streaming, and obviously it is your own fault because you are the person that is clicking start streaming. But I guess it's like anything in life, that sometimes when things are going bad, you just kind of want to put your head under the sand and kind of go, I don't want people watching me now. And that is definitely a thing when it comes to streaming, is when you're in a terrible game, even though, like, my performance here, we're not feeding, we've died once. It's one of those, like oh, God, you know, this would have been better if there weren't 300-400 people watching me live. But you kind of just suck it up. And that is also why I think it's relatively healthy, a healthy thing for me to do, is when games go bad, that's when I'm going to stop doing a commentary and just play the game. I think it is a healthy thing to do. Anyway, I did ping that Talon was on his way down bot lane again. You can see he is here. Looks like they're just going for first blood, but Sion goes for an ultimate. Draven cannot get out. He doesn't have... Well, actually, he did have flash up. So I don't know why he didn't just flash out the way. Again, that was a bit weird. You know, again, Talon is roaming, but that probably didn't have to be a kill if Draven flashed out the way. But it was. Fiddlesticks should just leave right now. Like, he's not going to gain anything. He gets level 6, and maybe that's what he was after, but that's about it. I'm still in mid lane. Zin's covering, so I can't gain any traction on this tower whatsoever. So, in fact, it's another one of those situations. So, it's now 2-8, and obviously the 2 kills were in mid lane in that 2v2. And, yeah. As for team comp, though, when you're looking for, you know, especially the high rating, you do have to think about, like, transitioning from mid to late game and, like, how well will your team recover from situations. Meanwhile, I'm getting ganked from the Xin. I go for an ultimate play. Even I'm questioning why I did that now in the commentary. I think I could have just lived. I think I could have just run and maybe I would have been, like, okay. It depends. Like, Xin, maybe I was dead. Maybe my thought process was, I don't even have tier 1 boots. Zin's got tier 2 boots. He was probably going to catch me. So maybe that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if that was a good play or not. Anyway, Kane's going to go and protect the mid lane so it doesn't get damaged too much. We are pinging... people are pinging the Jace back because Talon was heading that way. There is the Talon now in full vision. Pretty low health, though, so he might be able to get killed if he does overstay here. And he is on a ward. Fiddlesticks has decided to roam. He is in vision, though. Zin's also there. Talon escapes. And that's probably going to be the end of that. Unless the enemy team go all in. Again, this game was like 4 days ago, so I do not remember everything that happened. The little nuances. I just kind of remember the big things. But like I was saying, is you've got to think about the grand picture. And in an upcoming episode of Climb to Master, if it does, I'm pretty sure it is an episode. It might even be tomorrow's main episode. The people that I don't ever get is the people that are playing a late game champion who die in the early game, and the first thing that they say is FF. You know, in an upcoming episode, all I'll say, I'm not going to say the outcome of the game, but a Kai'Sa on my team died in the early game, and she was that type of like, oh, FF, game's over. It's like, you're playing Kai'Sa, one of the best late game carries. I don't know what just happened. You're playing Kai'Sa, one of the best late game carries in the game, and you've died once. Why the hell do you care about that? Bizarre to me, but again, some people just get very demoralized very quick. Jay should be killing that minion, by the way. If he killed that minion, that would have been good. I throw a dot on the Talon who's running parallel. I do have my ultimate up, so we are going to continue going for a play here, potentially. Jace does manage to survive, but I think if he played it a little bit better, he actually could have done more there. Talon's coming in. I do throw my ultimate on him. He's getting DPS down. Enemy team kind of go back in. I'm going to live, I think. One kill for me, kill for Kane. Jace does end up dying. Aurelia, I'm a derp. So again, this is where, from memory, like, again, 100% in this situation, the Kane was being toxic at this state, so maybe I was typing something to him saying, like, you know, normally I don't, but maybe I was typing, like, see, like, hey, we just got a double kill, and me typing probably just killed myself to the Aurelia. So again, if that's not a lesson to don't type, I don't know what else is. I should follow that lesson myself. Again, I'm very good at following that lesson in the vast majority of the time, but stuff like that, that's kind of just like, eh. Anyway, the Fiddle really wants to get rid of that control ward, which he does do, so that is good. Enemy bot lane, by the way, with all that, got a tier 2 tower, and they were pushing down into the bot lane. So again, this game is still not looking good. We're, what, 6,000 gold behind at 12 minutes into the game. The vast majority, and again, you guys, I'm not flat out saying the outcome, but the vast majority of people, if you watched earlier's episode, know the outcome. A vast majority of people think the game's over. Hell, I think the game's over. And do I think there's anything wrong, by the way, with thinking a game of League is over when you're playing ranked? And again, this may trigger some people. No, I don't. As long as it doesn't affect how you really are playing, like, as long as you're still working to the goal of wanting to win, and you're not intentionally like, oh, I'm kind of throwing the game away, herp, derp, derp. As long as you are still trying and you're playing as well as you can in the situation you're given, it's fine. Like, you don't have to think every game is a victory, because that's simply not true. Faker loses games, and if Faker loses games, so are you. Anyway, Jace completely, by the way, outplayed that Aurelia by herself. Talon roams down for the Draven, who's alone again. But yeah, that's good to see. So this Jace has been flamed. I know you guys haven't been able to see it because the chat isn't there. I guess if you wanted to see the flame, the Twitch VOD would be available. I don't know what day, like, again, roughly 4 days ago, so if you really want to find the game, feel free. It might be muted, though, because I do obviously play copyright music on stream. That's why VODs can get muted sometimes. And obviously, I just started playing music when I stopped the recording. Anyway, Kane is dueling with the Xin. Mid lane, I do get caught out a little bit for being okay. Kane doing not great versus the Xin, but both of them managed to survive. I'm potentially getting dove here. But did see Lucian behind me. They did a bunch of damage to me in front, so I'm basically like, uh-oh. So I throw a ward just to see if the Lucian is still there. He's not. A little bit nervous. There's the Lucian down there. A little bit nervous. I'm going to get dove pretty much any second, I would imagine. Zin's there. So you can very much tell that the enemy team's strategy now is just kind of pressure. Furthermore, I haven't mentioned it yet, one of Talon's first purchases was the QSS to avoid my ultimate for obvious reasons. Zin does end up killing Kane on the blue buff. They're going for mid lane tower, and I don't want that to happen, to be honest. So I am walking into a bit of damage just purposely to try and stop it. Fiddle and Draven end up killing the Lucian, by the way, in a 2v1 themselves, which is good. So yeah, game is not going good. I don't even think I completed my point that I mentioned earlier, is the higher rating you go, the more you've got to look at actual team comp and what team comps can do in late game, especially if you've got advantage in late game. And again, I know a lot of people always say, how do you know if you've got the advantage like that? It's general game knowledge. The more you know about the game, the more you'll be able to read like what a team can do versus what. Like, what can the enemy team do? Well, they're full AD. They're full AD. They have a bit of CC, but they're more about all in, and they're more about just killing people quickly or they're going to die. Our team is not all about that. Like, we have a bit of that, but we have mixed damage, so we're not just full AD. We've got a Malzahar and we've got a Fiddlesticks. We've got poke damage from having dot damage from me as a Malzahar. We've got a Jace. We have all in. We've got all in with a Kayn. Arguably, still with a Malzahar and a Jace have all in capabilities. Draven's all in AD carry, and Fiddlesticks ultimate. We've got more CC, arguably, than the enemy team, or very similar. Fiddlesticks Fear, Malzahar ultimate and silence. Kayn knock up if he does go red Kayn, which I don't know. He did go red Kayn, so he's got knock up. And we've got Jace who has the hammer form E. So there's a bunch of CC there. So this game is basically just to try and stop the snowball occurring and just be smart about it. Like, picks would probably be the best friend to us right now. Would we win a flat-out team fight? Maybe. Like, our conditions of winning a team fight mainly would be on the enemy team right now making mistakes. Like, if Talon uses QSS on Fiddlestick Sphere, and then I throw an ultimate on him, which I do, by the way, and you might be like, why did you throw the ultimate? It's all about pressure. Like, even if we don't get the kill, he is now really low health. He's going to have to use all those corrupting potions to get full health, and he might not even get back to full health. So therefore, his pressure goes down. That is why. Anyway, we are looking for a kill. Do force another flash, so that's good. Jace doing a bit of poke damage. Draven now in the bot lane by himself versus a Lucian, and he's actually got more XP than Lucian, and you would argue that this 1v1 actually would be very close. A Lucian versus Draven with Storm, Razor, Ninja Tabby versus Blade the Ruin King and no armor. That actually probably would be fairly close. It's not clean cut. Anyway, Fiddlesticks coming in for an ultimate play. I throw the dot on him. He gets the ignite kill, and there you go. Because they're pressuring so hard, it allows something perfect like a Fiddlesticks to come in and stop that. Anyway, there is a Rift Herald play. Aurelia misses her ultimate. She is going to go in the front line. She's probably going to get killed pretty easily. You can see me right now not wanting to kill myself. Do manage to, any second, get the dot on Aurelia. Do manage to get that kill. Draven manages to pick up the Xin. Again, that Rift Herald play was very questionable because they were getting kind of harassed while doing it. And stuff like that. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think we win this game outright right now, but it's up to the enemy team making mistakes. If they make mistakes, that gives us an in. And because the enemy team is so all about all in, they get punished for mistakes more than we do. You know, a Malzahar mistake would be like, damn, you ulted the wrong target, but we managed to back away. Well, Talon's mistake is going in at the wrong time and getting caught out by 3 or 4 people and dying instantly. It's a much bigger mistake. So that's another advantage of not playing like an all-in champion like Talon or Xin or something like that. They're good, and again, I like playing them, but they're just not very consistent. So, yeah. So again, all of us right now, from my memory and recollection, we may have all muted the Kayn, and that does, by the way, and the way that I've always said it, and I know people disagree with it, but if you're a toxic individual, I don't want you part of my game in any essence. So I both mute the chat and pings. Like, I have nothing more to do with that person. If my, again, memory serves correct, at the end of the game, when we did confirm we were reporting him, he was toxic to us then, basically saying, like, how can you report me when we won, or something like that. You know, it's the weirdest mindset that people give. Again, don't be one of those people that forgives toxicity instantly just because you see the victory screen at the end, because what happens if they do the exact same thing and then there's a defeat at the end of the next game? It doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it, like, any worse. It's just equally as bad. So also worth noting, the obvious thing as a Malzahar is which people have QSS, which people can I actually ult without getting punished. The only person that's got it right now is the Talon, and obviously that the whole enemy team is targets, basically apart from Sion, and it's still sometimes a good situation to do that, by the way. But 4 of their targets are actually good targets to get. By the way, Talon goes in, does pick up the Draven, does kill himself by doing it. But the enemy team right now, I would say, are probably in a little bit of panic mode. Anyway, they are going for a play on me. Fiddlestick's coming in. I use the ult. Again, he doesn't have QSS, so they're diving somebody when they can't survive it. He does use heal, does get killed by my dot. Sion manages to survive. But this is what I was literally about to say before that happened. I'd imagine the enemy team is fairly desperate at the moment, because if I was the enemy team kind of going, guys, we're full AD, Meanwhile, Xin is on my face. Guys, we're full AD. They've got mixed damage. We're going to try and get this kill. Xin does die and also uses flash. Kayn gets his red buff. Amazing timed knock up there. And again, I don't mind. And, you know, because some people say it's also a weird thing that, you know, when someone's crazy toxic, oh, you're praising their gameplay. Yeah. Good gameplay is good gameplay no matter what you look at. Like, I'm not going to go, oh, that was bad when it's clearly good. But that doesn't excuse toxic behavior. So, yeah. So, I'd imagine the enemy team is on a ticking time bomb, a little bit in panic mode, and that's maybe why they're taking a little bit more of those desperation plays. You know, Talon goes in 1v3 to kill the Draven. He still does kill it, which isn't good, but 1v3, these two dive me in mid lane without knowing where any of my teammates are, get killed. This Draven, I will say, does need to stop going alone, though. Again, I didn't actually remember that this Draven did it as much as he did, but holy moly. Anyway, Infernal Dragon is coming up in less than a minute. I'm back in mid lane, so I could let Jace go back and buy. And, yeah, we probably want to start fighting as 5. Random play by that Talon. Really late QSS. They're going for a dive. Kayn's actually going for the Lucian. Split damage right now because he's now getting ignited. The Jace got ignited by the Sion. Does manage to survive. Kayn picks up the Lucian. Kayn's now going for the Xin, and arguably the Kayn is stronger. Now the Aurelia's in the fray. Unfortunately, the knockup didn't land. Fiddlestick's ultimate does come through. I go for it. I think my silence hits as well as the Fiddlestick silence, and we just ace the enemy team without Draven. 4v5. So even though this early game, and again, why I wanted to do a post-game commentary of this game specifically is just because the early game sucks. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Now, the opposite does go with that. If I was say these were flipped, and we're on this team, and say I was this Talon, and all of us are getting completely owned, that is when I'd be a lot more worried. Because it's like, okay, so we're on a team that gets outscaled, we're full AD, and we're behind in the early game. Yeah, that is when you can worry. And I wouldn't say be negative, but that's where I'd probably be thinking about maybe a surrender vote in the early game. Because when you're in a comp that gets outscaled and you're getting absolutely wrecked in the early game, is it worth your time? Now, the Draven, once again, only was split pushing this game. Again, all of us got tilted from the Kayn, so I'm not excusing his behavior because he should be doing what he's doing. He should be grouping, but I do understand that all of us were just fed up at this point. Even though we're turning the game, a toxic person like the Kayn just takes it out of you. He did do a good thing, though. The Draven did kill the Infernal Dragon, so it is probably worth his death. I'm just saying. For one more death, and he's already died 5 or 6 times, who cares, really, when he got an Infernal? So that was probably worth. He probably should have just backed out straight away after getting it. Anyway, the enemy team, with them hovering in this area, part of my thinking is they might be going for Baron, especially if this Kayn does a mistake. He goes for an ult. He's now 1v3. Jace is coming in the back line, does quite a bit of damage, but now we're in trouble. Aurelia ult actually hits. He flashes out of it. I am going to go for a kill on the Lucian because I thought, you know, why not? But then Talon shows up and ruins my day. Lucian actually levels up as well, which saves his life. So again, unfortunate situation. That was a little bit of a throw. Aurelia, Xin, nearly kills him. Draven trying to get a couple kills. Xin ult saves that guy. Again, I do not like Xin ult. It's annoying as hell. Draven picks up 1 kill in return, which is good. But that's about it. So, bit messy. Aurelia's been left alone. Does get a tier 2. So, like I mentioned earlier, is if you wanted to win this game, and I know that's my classic Huzzy, how you win games, but it is group. They're full AD, they've got assassins, we've got lockdown, we've got a Fiddlesticks ultimate. Our win condition this game is group. We can protect people easier as 5, we can defend, we can, you know, can even attack one specific target to burst them more, which is quite handy when they've got a Talon. So yeah, also it makes the Talon like less likely to go on the target he wants. Because if you're Draven down bot lane by yourself, that's a very clear target for a Talon to go to. Oh, it's a Draven by himself. If you're 5 mid lane all together, meanwhile Fiddlestick's ultimate comes down, does use his QSS, not going to help him there. But if you're... I didn't even get an assist. If you're 5 people in mid lane, then it's less obvious for the Talon to who to go for. It's like, oh, but okay, the Draven's behind. Do I go for the Draven? But if the Draven's there, then I'm going to get feared by the Fiddlesticks, or I'm going to get Malzahar. It's less clear, and the more fuzzy you can make it, especially for an assassin, the harder time they're going to have, obviously. Don't give an assassin an opportunity to assassinate people. That's what they want. Anyway, Kayn is fighting the Aurelia right now. If he can time his ultimate well, instead he times his knock-up well, and then he times his ultimate to kill the Aurelia, because he was thinking, obviously, she may go for the wall flash, and she did have flash up, by the way, but the Kayn just timed stuff well. Draven, again, by himself in mid lane, does throw his stopwatch. I just throw an ultimate on the Xin just to try and hopefully stop him. It does end up working. No kills so far. Lucian comes a little bit too close, to be honest, and he is probably going to go down to the Kayn. Does go down. Me and Kayn are trying to work to killing the Scion. Throw my dot on him. Knockup's coming down. Talon's in the mix. Does get feared instantly, and there you go. Literally, like I've been saying, guys. Again, I haven't remembered this game fully. I didn't know that happened, but it's just what happens when an assassin goes into 3 or like 5 people, is he gets locked down more. Like, he didn't have QSS up, so he just got fiddlesticks feared instantly, you know? That's what's going to happen. Anyway, we get in him. So we're now still, by the way, behind on gold. So we're still just around 2,000 gold behind. But we do break their base. We get the first inhibitor of the game. Farm-wise, everybody is still behind. You know, only Kayn is ahead in jungle farm. But top lane behind. By the way, nearly kind of double. Mid lane, still a lot behind. And bot lane, not as behind because he's been split pushing the whole game, but pretty far behind. If we look into the gold, overall, so nearly 12,000, 8,000. 10,000, 12, so he is ahead. Mid lane, over 11,000, nearly 10,000, so I'm still behind over 1,000. Bot lane, only a 500 gold difference now. Obviously, Draven getting, you know, those chunk of changes occasionally when he gets those kills. That will help. And then bot lane is where our big difference is. Nearly 7,000, 8,500. So the Fiddlesticks is being a big difference this game. And that's a really good thing. You know, that presence of his ultimate against that enemy team comp is very, very strong. Anyway, Talon now, if you're not so... Well, hopefully none of you are surprised to see this because it just makes clear sense. While the Talon's going bot lane by himself, though, we just go for an engage because why wouldn't we? But yeah, the reason that you're seeing him in bot lane by himself is because he's been just getting denied in the past 3 or 4 team fights. So he's like, okay, guys, we can't team fight them, so I'm going to split push, which he's still there, by the way. So I'm just going to stay bot, and hopefully you guys will be fine. But how would that ever make sense? If you're losing these team fights in a 5v5, and hell, we even won one of those team fights in a 4v5, how is your team going to start winning them when you're not even there? The logic just doesn't make sense. Anyway, Aurelia goes for a good ultimate. I just throw an ultimate on the Scion, by the way, because it was a free kill. There's the dead Aurelia. Talon comes in. Goes to me, because obviously he would. You know, I don't know why he did, to be honest. I'm not a tower killer, so he should have gone for the Draven or the Kayn. Went for the Malzahar, who cares? And that's the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, it's a bad game, but being put in a good situation. So we, by the way, end the game still behind in gold. We still behind in gold, but the early game was terrible. We had a comp that outscaled them through a number of things. You know, we have different damage ratios, AP and AD. We have more pick opportunities than them. We can lock down their Talon more with a Fiddlesticks or Malzahar ultimate. But what was ruining it, and I think what, like, you know, why Draven was split pushing as much, why obviously I stopped my recording, was the Kayn. You know, Toxic, like, I know a lot of people be defending it, going, oh, you just muted him and then that's fine. Like, it's fine. No. You can't, unless you're going to mute everybody at the beginning of every single game, you can't just forget about what people say. Like, it's going to put you in a bad mood. You're not just going to instantly turn on, like, a light switch and kind of go, he's muted. I don't remember what he said 10 seconds ago. No, obviously you're going to. So that's not as simple. You know, it's not as simple as that. So it's still bad, but we managed to kind of keep our calm. And if memory serves correct, I honored the Jace, and I gave him stayed cool, like as in not tilting, because that Kayn was going in on that Jace for being a support main and why you top and blah blah, and really really bad stuff. And I was like, the Jace just kept playing. The Jace kind of just put his head down, and yeah, he lost lane big time, but I didn't do great in mid either. And he just kind of dealt with it in a very adult, mature way, unlike the Kayn. So, yeah, we see the victory screen at the end, though, so that's what the important thing is. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Obviously, this gave us our first promo win into Diamond 3, and then the earlier episode, which was the Anivia episode, was the game after this, where we did end up also winning, and we are now Diamond 3. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, throw a like on the video. Again, I am going to probably do a bunch of these type of videos pretty soon, not of myself, but mainly of the watching Challenger players. We haven't done them in a while, like a couple weeks, so I might, in one of my days off upcoming, record like 3 or 4 of them to spread out over the next week or two. So if you guys want to let me know what champions you want to see, put that in the comments, and I'll have a read through there. And yeah, hopefully it'll be good. So anyway, like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.